Congratulations, you've been confirmed for your first fight. I remember waiting a really long time to get confirmed for my very first fight. I remember I was training and training and training and just hoping that for the next show, my name would be on it. Finally, the nerves, the excitement, the anticipation, it all became real. Stepping into the ring for the first time is going to be a whirlwind of emotions, adrenaline, and a whole lot of uncertainty. You've already put in countless hours of work leading up to this point. You've endured some pretty grueling training sessions that pushed yourself past your limits that you didn't know that you already had. And now here's a continuation of that. The work doesn't stop there. Fight camp is about to test you, and you're going to keep pushing past your comfort zone. Now, here's the thing. No amount of training can really prepare you for that exact moment where you hear the first bell ring. It's an experience that's really hard to put into words, but let's talk about what you might expect when it's your turn to fight. Before the fight, you're going to feel those pre-fight jitters. It's a mix of excitement, anxiety, nervousness. You spend countless hours honing your skills, drilling techniques, visualizing the fight. But as the date gets closer, it's easier to get caught up in what ifs. Did I do enough? Will I be ready? You might find yourself running through techniques in your head, wondering about your opponent, or even just imagining how the neck will go. Again, this is all pretty normal. Nerves are a good sign. This is what I tell a lot of people when they're worried about being nervous. Nerves are good for you. Having nerves means that you care, means that you want to be ready, and that you're preparing yourself for what's about to happen. So don't fight those nerves because they're there to keep you sharp and to keep you safe. Here are a few tips that might help. First, visualize your success. Visualization is a very powerful tool. Picture the techniques you've practiced, see them landing, feel that sense of accomplishment. Focus on your breathing. Deep, steady breaths can help calm and center your mind. Positive affirmations. Tell yourself that you're ready. Tell yourself that you've done the work. Tell yourself that you got this. Finally, trust in your training. And most importantly, find something that centers you. It could be listening to music, meditating, even taking a nap. Do what works to help you relax. Now, let's talk about something called tunnel vision. Once that bell rings, everything's going to change. A lot of people, including myself, got something called tunnel vision for our first fight. It's something that happens when your focus narrows in on just to your opponent. And for a while, it might seem like nothing else exists. The crowd fades out, the noise just kind of melts into the background. You might not even hear your corners yelling at you. This happens more often than you think. It happens to most people. It kind of just means that you're in the zone and you are very aware that someone is trying to come at you at full force. As hard as it may be in the moment, try to stay connected to your corner's voice. They are seeing things that you can't. So try to make a conscious effort to practice active listening, even when it's really noisy, chaotic, feel like you can't breathe. And on the topic of breathing, don't forget to breathe. You might be surprised how easy it is to forget something that's as basic as that. One of the most challenging parts of your first fight is putting everything together while you're under pressure. It's one thing to throw clean combos on the pads while in the gym, but in the ring, when your adrenaline is pumping and you're in the thick of the action, your mind is racing, it's a whole other story. This is where muscle memory is going to kick in. Your body is going to remember those moments from all the hours that you've drilled into them. So even when your brain is overloaded, your body knows what to do because you've trained it and trained it and trained it. And that's the power of repetition. When it's time to throw a teep, you might not even be consciously thinking about it, but your body will respond instinctively. So I cannot stress enough how important it is to keep those basic fundamentals sharp. Focus on repetition, not just trying to learn as many techniques as possible. It's good to know a wide range of techniques, don't get me wrong, but drilling the basics over and over and over and over is going to serve you much better and have more uses going forward into your future fights as well. Now, so when I talk to people about having their first time fight, I talk about muscle memory and I talk about cardio. If you think 2 or 3 minute rounds sound short, just wait until you're actually fighting. Trust me, it's going to feel like forever. It's going to feel like an eternity. This is where your cardio becomes so important. No matter how skilled you are, if your gas tank runs empty, it wouldn't matter. Your techniques will fall apart. Your ability to defend and attack will suffer. That's why conditioning should be just as important as learning techniques during your fight camp. Maybe even more important for your very first fight. In the first round, because it's a new experience and there's all this adrenaline and stuff, it's easy to consciously and subconsciously go all out in that first round. But once you are bring yourself back to like, oh, okay, I'm in the ring, and you're able to collect your thoughts a little bit, just remind yourself to try to pace yourself. That being said, road work is such an essential part of Muay Thai training for a reason. I know a lot of people hate it, but it builds the endurance that you're going to need. So even on those days when you're tired, sore, mentally drained, remind yourself to at least just go for a run. And that adrenaline rush that I had already mentioned a few times, it's really no joke. When that bell rings, if your body hasn't already released the whole flood of adrenaline, your heart is going to start racing. And some fighters, they really thrive off this big surge for energy, but then some other people freeze and feel something called an adrenaline dump. Both possibilities and anything in between, perfectly normal. If you find yourself freezing up, focus on your breath, ground yourself in a moment, and remind yourself that you've trained for this. Having deep breaths can help you regain control. And if you experience something called adrenaline dump during the fight, you might feel fatigue, drained, maybe even a little bit disorientated during the rounds. Understand that this is an unfortunate side effect of all the adrenaline coursing through your veins. And don't be too hard on yourself if it does happen. During the fight, you're going to feel like, oh, wow, none of these things hit. That's because the adrenaline that we just spoke about acts like a natural painkiller. You can take the punches and kicks that usually hurt you during sparring, but then you'll barely feel them in a moment. But don't get too confident, because those hits can still cause damage. Try to defend as best as possible. Just because you don't feel the pain immediately doesn't mean it's not there. Now, for your first fight, you might have a game plan in place, you might not. And I wouldn't stress too much about this point, because most first-time fighters can barely think during a fight. But don't worry, because hopefully your corner has already worked amongst each other to help to kind of know what your strengths are and what your opponent's possible weaknesses can be. Things don't always go according to plan, and that's why your corner is there to help you adjust. They're your eyes and ears outside the ring. They offer the guidance you need, especially when your adrenaline is in overdrive. So do trust your corners. And leading up to the fight, right after the fight, you're going to experience a wide range of emotions: pride, excitement, fear, relief, maybe even a bit of sadness. Acknowledge those emotions, reflect on the experience, and give yourself credit for doing all of this. Like, it's not easy to take on a fight camp and do all these things and then fight. So regardless of whether you win or you lose, or if it's a draw, you've already shown so much dedication and courage for doing that. When you fight, it's a learning experience, and even the training during the fight is also a learning experience. Your first fight is just the beginning of your career. Every fight will make you better. Every fight camp will make you better and stronger and more skilled. So enjoy the process. You've got this. Good luck and have fun.